Welcome back, everybody. Today we're taking a look at Vampyr. This is one of the PlayStation Plus games for October 2020. We're taking a look at a full trophy guide and roadmap walkthrough. This will be completely spoiler free. I won't be going into any of the story elements for this game. It's a really solid game, and the trophy list is actually a pretty straightforward and easy one as well. Let's get on with the video. If you're a new viewer of the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button just down below. We're currently working towards a 10k subscriber goal before the 30th of October, Halloween, and if we hit that goal, we're going to be giving away a PS5 on the channel. So please consider hitting the subscribe button so not only can you stay up to date with all my content, but you'll also go into the draw for the PS5 and you'll help us unlock that goal, and that would be awesome if we did. Today we're taking a look at Vampyr. This is a game from Don't Nod that came out in 2018. Don't Nod being the studio that worked on Life is Strange, which you guys might be familiar with. A really awesome cinematic adventure game, I suppose. And Vampyr is a third-person, I would say narrative-driven adventure action game or stealth action game on top of that. The game is about a 3 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. It's actually a pretty easy and straightforward platinum. There are a couple of frustrations with it though. It's going to take you about 25 hours to platinum, and that's because you have to actually play through the game multiple times. This is playing through the game twice, so it's actually quite a short game when you look at it as a single playthrough. There are no online trophies, but there are missable trophies in this game. Sadly, there's actually 8 missable trophies in this game, so be aware of that as you're playing through it. Therefore, picking particular options during the narrative sections of the game, because depending on how you choose to dialogue in the game will impact the outcome of the game. There are no difficulty trophies in the game. You do need to play through the game twice, and this is because you have to play through it once normally, I would say, and then a second playthrough passively, not killing or embracing any of the NPCs. Which requires an additional second playthrough, a complete second playthrough. And stacks aren't, there's no stack. In terms of a trophy breakdown, we have 29 trophies in total. This is 1 platinum, 5 golds, 17 silvers, very silver heavy list, and 6 bronze trophies. And my trophy breakdown is this. So we've got 12 non-missable story-based trophies. These ones you'll earn just playing the game, whichever way you choose to play the game. You've got 8 missable trophies depending on the choices you make in the game. You have 3 misc trophies. These are for doing random objectives in the game, so choosing to partake in particular activities. You've got 3 weapon upgrade trophies for upgrading your abilities and weapons in a particular way. You've got 2 trophies associated with district takeovers and keeping the districts positive rather than letting them fall. I'll explain that shortly as well. And then you've got a platinum trophy too. What's important to mention here is that of those missable trophies, one of them is your second playthrough of the game. So it's technically only 7 missable trophies plus that additional 1 for playing through the game in a very specific way, which isn't the natural way of playing through the game, obviously. Steps to platinum. Now, this is a little bit complicated, so just bear with me as I explain around this. I've tried to keep as little text on here as possible, but play through the game normally for the first playthrough. This is the way the game was intended to be played, so this is the way you're going to enjoy it the most. That's how I would suggest. Be aware there are missable trophies in this though, so if you do want to get all those trophies that are missable in this playthrough and play through it that specific way to unlock those, you're going to either need to use a guide so you know exactly when and what choices to make, and you're going to need to use backup saves so that you can choose either option A or B to prevent you having to do an entire different story playthrough run again for those missable trophies. Now, this is good and bad. It's frustrating for people who just want to get it done as quickly as possible, but if you want to enjoy the game, just play the game and then come back and do another playthrough later. You might have to do a third playthrough if you want to do it this way, but it's the way the game was probably intended, so that's kind of what I would suggest. That's what I always like to suggest in these videos. If you want to do it the fastest way possible, look up a guide, do exactly what the guide tells you, and pick the right options at the right time so you don't miss any of those trophies. But that's not what this is. This is just explaining everything to you, completely spoiler free. The second step is during your first playthrough, take care to ensure you're raising all the districts to maximum health while also completing side quests. So districts have a health level. It's essentially like, I don't know, I guess think in Far Cry of taking over the bases or the areas in the bases. It's similar to that. Just make sure they don't get sick or too sick. The game is about a virus that's plaguing this city. So if you let it get too bad and too infected, the city will kind of fall, and there is a trophy for keeping all the cities healthy. So make sure all the districts healthy. So make sure you continue to juggle those plates. It's another really easy trophy, but you'll lose it if you're not being aware of it. The other thing is completing side quests, because it obviously helps level up your character and helps to increase your affinity within the districts too. So those are the two things there. Now, the next part of it is for your second playthrough. This is assuming you've done everything on those first playthroughs. Maybe you had to play through twice at this point because you played through it once just normally, and then a second time with a guide to get those missable trophies, and now you're doing it for another time to get the no deaths trophy, or the no kills trophy. This one here is for playing through the game completely passively. This means you can't embrace NPCs essentially. That's the whole point of this one. Embracing them is when you kill them or drink their blood. So you want to make sure you play through the game completely passively, not killing any of the NPCs that aren't required to be killed. There are some enemies that will still need to be killed in the game, and the trophy doesn't get discriminated by those. But it's kind of iffy, the game. It doesn't really explain it particularly well. So just be careful when you're going for this trophy. My advice is just avoid killing enemies at all costs unless you absolutely have to, and then you can kind of guarantee that you'll get through it without too many problems. If you're going through killing stuff willy-nilly, that's when you can get into trouble and you might accidentally kill the wrong person. Now, in terms of that's the steps to platinum. In terms of notable trophies, the only one I want to call out specifically is Not Even Once, which is for finishing the game without killing any citizens, embracing any citizens, drinking any citizens' blood, being a bad boy. I think it's relevant just because this requires an entire playthrough on its own. It means that you need to go into this one knowing that's what you're doing and knowing that's what you're going for. If you don't, you're obviously not going to be able to get it. So just keep that in mind. If you go into this game, you're going to need to dedicate an entire playthrough to this, which means you're probably looking at a minimum of 2 playthroughs and probably 3 playthroughs for most people to earn the platinum trophy in this game, which is not insane considering it's not actually that long of a game. It's quite a short game. Unless you're really good with the backup saves and reverting to backup saves at particular points in the game so that you know what options to be picking, which I know some of you guys are as well, so that could be an option for you if you're not wanting to play through the game entirely again. But that's the entire trophy guide roadmap for Vampyr. It's kind of a weird one. It's probably not a super Halloween-y game. I guess it's not really scary, but it does feature a vampire, and Halloween is kind of about ghouls and monsters, so I guess that kind of makes sense. What do you guys think? Are you going to be going for this one? Maybe you have already. Maybe you have some tips and tricks that you can let the community know down below in the comment section. That'd be really, really helpful. I'd appreciate it if you did. If you're a new viewer, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. It helps the channel out enormously and keeps you up to date with all the latest content that I publish on the channel too. Also, don't forget to give a thumbs up. That helps the channel out any day of the week, so that would be appreciated. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye.
Baby, I've been thinking about the things we said. Oh yeah. And maybe